1 year ago today, Hurricane Lisa, a Category 1 storm, made landfall in Belize. For hours, residents braved the brunt of the strong winds and rains that flooded their communities, taking down trees and ripping roofs from beams. In some cases, houses were flattened and tons of debris were strewn across the streets. Lerna Nixon and her husband have been living on the seafront in the Caesar Ridge area. A small zinc structure is where they have been living after their home was washed away by the hurricane.
Whole house. So, by my son-in-law of Patrick, come to build my houses and put me in here. There are times, look here, I be so suffering. I be bearing pain. All these other things I'm going through. I got a hard times with my house, and I be suffering. And nobody come out to be helped.
Fortunately, Nixon says that her living condition will soon change because help has come through with a new house for them in Lord's Bank.
Last year, I never got the houses, and I'm Mr. Frisco in Lord's Bank come and build the houses, and I'm so happy, and I'm so glad for it, and I'm talking very good. And ask God to give me it, and God give me it. So it's just that take the tank and the light and the water and put it, and I'll be moving up.
Hundreds of millions of dollars in damages were recorded.
We were able to determine that we suffered $131 million approximately in damages, and also the country suffered approximately $63 million in loss. So that allowed us to see those different aspects. Of course, there was a human aspect. There were all kinds of issues that occurred as a result.
For several days, there were communities without access to utilities, electricity, and water. And while that was resolved, there are so many others whose lives were turned upside down. The government employed a post-disaster needs assessment that looked at loss and damages beyond simply looking at physical damages to structures.
We looked at several aspects. We looked at the social aspect, which looked at housing, education, and culture. We also looked at the productive sector, looking at what happened to the agricultural sector, what happened to fisheries, forestry, and tourism. And of course, always we looked at the terms of infrastructure. So we do know that livelihoods were impacted. We do know that there were already people who were in precarious situations. A lot of people who are really vulnerable. The PD&A really helped us to look at it and determine that the livelihoods of over 172,000 persons were affected. There were losses in their capacity to generate income. There were also loss in personal income, and of course there was the issue of physical damages to their infrastructure, to their home.
The National Emergency Management Organization plays a critical role in disaster relief. A committee looking at damage and needs would provide a report that is used to assess where assistance is most needed.
So in the initial response, a lot was provided to people. So tarps and, like you said, food, water, and shelter were provided to people. In the longer term, in the medium term, assistance was provided to many people. The government spent over $3 million in providing housing assistance to people, and that continues. Recovery takes a long time. Recovery it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen over a few weeks. Recovery can take a long time. Some people are able to recover faster than others. And so that effort continues, just like it has after every event. NEMO and the government will continue to support and promote the recovery of affected populations.
Thankfully, Nixon was able to get assistance from a private business owner, but for Patrick Utley, he's still displaced. He had received a house from Hand in Hand Ministries, but the storm pushed the wooden structure off its concrete stilts and is now exposed to the elements. It's unlivable and is inundated by the rising tide daily.
The hurricane do me this, sir. Hurricane do me this. Nobody can help me, man. Nobody. I up and down, every way. Nobody push me on. Hands in hand help me build this house. They tell me about me have to get quit. Me have to get money for my own, have to get money to do it myself. I can't have everything, sir. Then I tell you for everything, man. Can't do nothing. So when every day. I have every day. You see there? Every day.
Where are you guys living now? Where are you living?
Yeah, that woman right there. That woman there, yeah, I stay at my house most of the time. Yeah, I go out, she just come, can't use bathroom, nothing we can use. Sit by my bathroom. I try to explain to you, I go every day, do every day. To when they push me on, they go, I've got this one, I've got that one there. Tell me I've got to blame a pan, this thing, they make me full farm, nothing happen. Everybody else get help before me. Me, nobody have one can help for me.
So 1 year later.
I do nothing, my boss.
National Coordinator for NEMO, Daniel Mendes, says that assistance has been provided, but recovery takes time. But what about Utley, who says he has not received any form of assistance?
Yes, the machinery is still out there. The machinery is still out there promoting and helping people. So I am quite certain that there has been a record of the persons who have received assistance. There is assistance that is still available, and that assistance will continue to be provided by NEMO.
Duane, Moody for News 5.